Congratulations on being runner-up for the St Gallen Wings of Excellence Award. You're an MBA student of Harvard Business School, a graduate of the School of Business Administration in Boston. What motivated you to enter this competition?
So this is actually the third year that I've been here. I've known about the St Gallen Symposium for a few years now, since my undergraduate days. And coming here in 2002 and 2003 were really some of the most exciting experiences of my life. In fact, one of the reasons why I wanted to go back to graduate school was so that I would be eligible again to apply for these kinds of conferences. So I knew what this experience was like, having done it before 6 and 7 years ago, and I definitely wanted to have it again before I graduated.
Now, the topic for the symposium changes every year. A lot of the discussions revolve now around the crisis. A lot of the feelings can be a little bit negative, but how do you see the feeling at the moment? How is it among the students, among the speakers? Is there a feeling of optimism in the air?
I don't know if there's an explicit optimism. I think students are generally always a little bit more optimistic about the future because they have a little more options in front of them. I would say that there's actually, compared to 2002 when we were also facing somewhat of a crisis, this is probably a little more serious, and definitely from the panelists I think we've heard more of a sense of this might last a little bit longer. I think students who are a little bit younger, though, are still very much unaware of how this will affect them, which in a way is a good thing because it allows them to go off and do what they really want to do.
And this optimism that you say is there in the students, how do you think this passes on to those in the corporate world who are here?
I think it might make them aware that there is a generation of people behind them that is ready to take the reins or to do the things that they're not willing to do. So particularly the ones who are thinking a little more entrepreneurially, and there are some here who are thinking that way, those are the ones who I think will feel the confidence to start the businesses or change the processes that will allow them to actually succeed, whereas I think people who are a little bit older are familiar with ways of doing things and may not be so amenable to change.
Now, the interaction here between all these different people, between students, between people from all different industries, what can they offer each other, these groups? What can they learn from one another? That's quite unique about this event.
So I think just the fact that there are students here at all is something remarkable, because I think the vast majority of these executives and business leaders and politicians who are here do not normally have this kind of interactions with students. So I think just knowing how students think about the current situation in and of itself is a good thing for them to know. I also think there's something very good about having people from business and people from non-business roles, so government, politics, nonprofits as well, involved in a similar kind of forum. Having worked in both business and in government, I find that there are very often people who don't know anything about the other world. I think just being in the same forum together for several days helps people to understand a little bit what that other world might be like.
And what would you say to students who are considering coming to the symposium, considering submitting their essays?
I would say you should absolutely apply. There is literally no downside for doing so. This will be... I'm actually very surprised that there aren't 20,000 applications a year for this. There's really no catch. You become a participant, and just like everyone else, just like all the senior executives who are here, you're given exactly the same opportunities, and it's a chance. For me, it was the first chance, and really one of the only chances to meet students from around the world, people who, for the most part, have really never had a chance to travel to this kind of setting. So I've met people who have never been to the U.S., and I've never been to their country, but we meet in Switzerland. That's something that's remarkable.
So truly a unique opportunity. Now, what 3 words would you use to describe the St Gallen Symposium?
So it's international, because there are probably 70-plus countries represented here. I'd say it's very intense, so there are a lot of days and a lot of things happening, and the sessions start very early. And I'd say it's also thought-provoking, because there are a lot of... That's 2 words, sorry. But I'd say there are a lot of people who are expressing ideas that you wouldn't necessarily have heard before and from a different angle. And you get exposed to that for several days at a time, which is actually a very interesting and refreshing intellectual experience.
Jason, thanks so much for talking to us.
Thank you.